If young people get involved in the arts, in opera, in theater, in any of those things, it contributes to their own sense of sophistication. It enhances their sense of citizenship in the broader sense, their capacity within a society to understand, to absorb, and to participate in some of its highest achievements, which find in the arts their best voice.
I come to the opera because, for one, they're a lot of fun, and it's a good experience to see that because I like music and I like to hear that kind of thing, so I just think it's a nice thing to be able to experience it.
I think the student dress rehearsal is moments in the arts with our friends. I think for people who would less commonly come to an opera, it gives them the opportunity to come and share it with someone who maybe has a bit more knowledge and to really invest into that experience and get a lot more out of it than you may as a solo individual.
I grew up going to the opera. I don't know how many I've seen, probably a couple dozen, and it was just normal to me as a kid that, yeah, 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds, we go to the opera together.
I've said it many times, you know, young people love opera. In fact, I'll say as sure as the sun rises in the east, kids love opera. And, you know, as soon as we can create a new program, it's so quickly populated. We've got our dress rehearsal program, in which we have 1,000 young people coming to each performance. We go into the schools and we tour programs like Living Opera. And we've just begun the TD 30 and younger program, and already many people have signed up, and many young people are enjoying opera in Victoria because of these wonderful programs.
What the 30 and younger program does for me is gets me better seats. So that's awesome, and I feel like I'm being treated really well by the opera. I feel like they care about me, and so that's the other reason that I joined the program, is that I feel like I'm a little bit special, and that's really nice to feel like the opera is reaching out to me and saying that I belong here, I'm allowed to be here, and there will be other people here who are like me, who are my age, and I'm not going to feel like I'm out of place.
Opera tickets can be kind of expensive sometimes. A lot of these high culture things can be very expensive, and that makes it inaccessible to younger people who maybe don't quite have all their ducks in a row, as it were. So it's kind of nice to have these programs that really get it out there, target younger people, and make it accessible for us so that we can go and experience this. I mean, I wouldn't actually be here tonight if it weren't for that. So it's really exciting, and I think it's just important in general to be engaged in the arts. It makes you think differently, changes your mindset.
Living Opera benefits classroom students that aren't able to afford or have yet to experience private study with a music teacher, so it gives them a taste of what's out there. For a lot of the students, this Living Opera program, we're getting a lot of repeat customers with the school and the schools, and especially the music teachers that have experienced it, get really jazzed and want us back.
I find that the kids really benefit from this. One, there isn't an extra cost, which can be a concern for certain schools. It's also nice not to have to take a field trip, and there's the comfort of the children's own classroom, and it's exciting. They don't have to listen to their teacher talk about this. They actually have the real professionals doing their job, and it's in a comfortable, quiet environment.
I think it's important that arts and cultural organizations support each other. The teachers need our support, and our organization, the Royal British Columbia Museum, is very proud to be a partner with the Pacific Opera Company and also with the Victoria Public Library. I think it's wonderful to have arts, culture, history, and the classroom all meeting together for the future.
It was a very interesting experience. I thought it's been the most valuable professional development day I've been to in my 15-year teaching career. I came across this opportunity just by visiting a website of the different Pro-D days offered in Victoria. Came across this listing and I thought I can apply this to my grade 9 teaching.
I think the biggest difference between a more intimate talk like this and a lecture would be that there's the opportunity to ask questions. Often in lectures you don't get to ask anything really, and you'd have to go up to them afterwards to find out what you want to know, but it's useful to just have this casual chat where you can just find out whatever you want.
Mentorship in the arts is indispensable in opera, at least as much as in any other art, because opera comprises music and theater, design of all different kinds, education. Without mentorship, I don't think the history of art would have proceeded in the way it has.
As a vocal coach and as a former young artist who has gone through a number of master classes as a young performer in those master classes, I remember clearly experiencing that nervousness, first of all being in front of the audience, and also that nervousness being in front of an incredible teacher who you're trying to impress and who's there to impart some knowledge, but you're obviously nervous because they're experts in their field, and you're hoping that you appear semi-decent to them as an artist. And I felt like being in that position put you in the most vulnerable state, where you are most likely to take more risks and therefore learn something from that.
I believe there's a need for opera companies to invest in artists constantly, because directors demand so much more of artists nowadays. And the more versatile, the more experience they have in various forms of movement, of acting, and of storytelling, the better they are as a tool, if you will, to that director and to tell the story for the audience. So it's a very, very important, very wise investment, in my opinion.
I think honestly those workshops are just a way to, because it's all art, so it just furthers the experience as a performer that you have, and hopefully that the audience experiences as well.
The nice thing about some of our programs, like Living Opera and the Opera School Tour, and sometimes we have resident artists who can do concerts, is those programs travel, and we really do enjoy and try as much as possible to get into communities up island and through Souk and the Gulf Islands, and even more remote communities where they don't usually get this kind of programming. So we're reaching a lot of young people that way as well.
I think that there's a terrible need in this country to provide really fine young artist program. And the reason is that while we have an amazing array of talent in singing on stage internationally as well as in Canada, and young artists wishing to become part of the profession, there is a gap that occurs between the training process, which is extremely fine, and then the real world. The real world, which is challenging and difficult, requires all kinds of auditions and auditioning time. It really is an amazingly tense transition for young artists, and I'm afraid we lose some of our best and brightest in that gap.
So it's wonderful when you're in school, you get to learn how to sing technically, you get a few performance opportunities, but it's not really until a young artist program that we really get to perform with an actual opera house, see how an opera house actually works, and be surrounded by other great young artists and also professionals. It's a stepping stone in between our education and then, launching into a professional career. So I'm very, very thankful for it.